Hi Helix guys and gals, I'm Bill Lawrenson. I want to show you guys how I set up patches with using the expression pedal to go back and forth between lower level rhythm sounds and higher level lead sounds. I developed this technique because as a singer it really sucks to have to look down while you're on the mic and sort of crane your neck over and see what foot pedal button you got to hit to go to your next snapshot or your next patch or whatever, or turn on an effect or something. So I developed this just so that I have only one place to put my foot, and that's on the expression pedal, and it's real easy to find. There's no looking, my foot just knows where it is. I set it up in the same place every night. And so this works, and I want to show you guys this. Some of you might find it useful just to be able to go from, let's say, a rhythm sound to a lead sound just by pushing the pedal forward. This particular patch has divided by 13 on path A and a Bogner Shiva on path B. These are just amps. They go down to the lower level processor here, and each one goes to its own speaker. What happens here, the signal goes through a Y split, so the signal is always passing on both paths from this split. First thing it hits, I'll show you on this path, is a volume pedal. When I have it, the expression pedal all the way back, heel down position, it's at 100%. When I push it forward, as you can see, it goes to 0%. And this one, which is at 0 with heel back position, goes to 100%. So when this is off, nothing's going to the divided by 13, and when this one is off, nothing's going to the Shiva. So that's pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to show you another way that I do this too. Here's a clean rhythm, clean lead patch. Everything going through the Shiva. As you can see, when I switch, these volume pedals are turned off on this snapshot, and these are turned on. Sometimes I say patch when I mean snapshot, so sorry about that. This is all one patch, and I'm just changing snapshots. So on this snapshot, I actually am using gain blocks here rather than volume. They're sort of, you can do either one really. In this case, the expression pedal is not doing anything to this. It's just turning this all the way down to minus 120 dB, which means no signal is reaching this amp or passing through this. So here, as I push the expression pedal forward, there's an 8 dB boost. Rhythm, lead. And it hits the amp a little harder, but it's still pretty clean. So that's one way to do this, or one way to get this way I get a clean sort of Fendery lead sound, which I can't get out of the Bogner really. Now here's another patch. This is more of a slightly edgy patch, not heavily distorted, but good for certain kinds of, I don't know, classic rock or blues or whatever. So this is just a semi-dirty, maybe a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. And the lead sound, same sort of deal, not heavy, but and in this one, even though I've got the same amount of gain on this as I had on that clean and clean, this one, I think the amp compresses it a bit, so I had to give it a little more gain on the way out. So here, when I push it forward, it goes up 4 dB. So what I do, I just, if I need to change a level or something, I just stick a gain block in there. They don't take up much processing. I suppose you can use as many as you want. Now I'm going to show you another way that I use this approach with two separate paths, but this time with just 1 amp. In this one, I've only got the 1 amp here, and it's divided by 13 with one of the Marshall cabs. And what I'm doing is I'm using the separate paths to, well, first of all, I'm using the expression pedal to change settings on the amp. So here's a lower level but distorted rhythm sound. I think, yeah, only these settings are changing. And then when I push down on the pedal, it goes up here, goes up here. And I'm switching from this path that has no distortion units or drive pedals on it down to this path that has, I think it's the, yeah, valve driver. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good. So when I go here, straight amp distortion, down to this. Now I got this added in, and I've got a little more gain out of the amp. So you can use that. You can also put a whole array of different drive pedals in either one of these paths, and each snapshot could be a different pedal or whatever. The other thing you can do, I've got another one of these drive pedals. If I want a heavier rhythm sound, I go to this snapshot, and so the rhythm sound is also being driven by a valve driver. So here's the cleaner one. I wouldn't have to go through quite as many contortions to pull this off if, line 6, I hope you're listening, if you guys would make specific expression pedal ranges for each snapshot. In other words, when I change snapshots, I can also change what the range is of expression control. So if I have an amp, that goes from 1 to 5 on the drive on snap 1, but then goes from 4 to 8 on snap 2, that would be awesome. Then I would I could do away with half of these these little tricks that I'm using. But until that happens, and I'm sure it will, until that happens, this all works great. Helix works great, and I think this is a really useful trick that even non-singers might find helpful. Guys on the Axe effects might like this too. If you want to take a closer look at this patch, I'm going to put it up on Custom Tone. It's called 13-Shiva, and my account is BILLORENTZEN.